Hey everybody, welcome to Around the Water Bowl with Chasing Tails Dog Training. I am Rebecca. Happy summertime. Yay! I know that I'm a little bit premature, but today I want to talk about fireworks. And the reason why is because I want to give you guys some time to prep and practice a few things before we get to actual fireworks season here in about a month. Yay, fireworks! Fireworks are fantastic for us, and for most dogs, pretty terrifying. They don't understand why the sky is lighting up and it sounds like we're in the middle of a war zone. And then sometimes their fear can look like disobedience, and that's not it. Fear and disobedience are two completely different things. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can help our dogs battle against fireworks. First and foremost, if you have a dog that has firework anxiety, go and talk to your vet now and get your anxiety meds. Your vet is not going to be impressed if you're asking them the day before the 4th of July. So when it comes to sound sensitivity, a lot of times, it's just a fear response. And we need to remember that when we're scared, we don't want to be punishing being scared. It's like, I am terrified of bugs. I don't do bugs. Anything with more than 4 legs is unnatural. And you're not going to cure my bug phobia by throwing me in a room full of bugs and saying, don't worry, they're not venomous. I'm sorry, nope, that's just gonna freak me out, and then I'm probably gonna die of a heart attack because it's not gonna work for me. So it's really important that we are kind of building our way up to these fearful things. And if you have a dog that is not going to be over it, it's okay to get medications. My dog is actually on medications for thunder and firework anxiety because it just terrifies the daylights out of him, and I want to make sure that he is at least reasonably comfortable and not just losing his marbles. So how can we desensitize, especially if you're not 100% sure how your dog is going to react? Start now. That's a big one because you've got about a month to start working on this. And you can find YouTube videos or something like that that has firework sounds, and start with a low volume, and over time increase the volume. And when we're doing this, we're going to want to pair that sound with good stuff. So they hear a firework on the phone or whatever, and they get a treat. So now these loud booms means treats happen. So sometimes this can absolutely be a great way to do it. It doesn't work for every dog, and that's okay. And we'll kind of go over some of the other things if you have a dog like mine who is just going to lose his marbles no matter what. But if you start with that low volume, Victoria Stillwell on Positively.com actually has a sound sensitivity series that you can download, and she has one for fireworks. She has one for thunder, city sounds if you're from the country and moved into the city. I personally don't have a lot of experience, however, I think Victoria Stillwell is a phenomenal trainer, and there's a lot of research backed behind it. I did download it, I just never did it because I have a toddler and life is hard. But definitely worth something to look at, and I can let you guys know. I'll try and see if I can look into it a little bit more and see if it works for Toby. However, Toby is starting to lose his hearing, so it's kind of a difficult one for me at the moment. So when we know that thunder or fireworks are going to happen, we want to make sure that we have a safe place for our dogs to go. This could be their kennel, it could be a closet, or just a quiet room in general. Turn on white noise or a fan, put the TV on, you can put on some like classical music. Really let your dog choose what they feel is the most comfortable spot to go. And if you have a dog that's already fearful, know their go-to spots. I know that when thunder happens, there is one of 3 places I will find my dog. He's either going to be in his kennel, trying to hide behind the toilet. He is not small enough to do it, but he tries, or right next to me. When they're in this fearful situation, we don't want to force separation. that fear can sometimes cause dogs to be really clingy, so don't just make them go wait it out in the kennel. If they want to be next to you, don't be like, I can't deal with you, I don't want to deal with you. Blech. We're going to want to work on building their independence separately. And honestly, when I very, very first got him and didn't know all the things that I know now about dog psychology and training, I made the mistake of seeing him absolutely terrified of fireworks for the first time, and I sat in the bathroom and I held him and I coddled him and said, "It's okay, buddy, you're gonna be fine, you're just doing so good." I made his anxiety so much worse around it, because essentially what was happening was, as I'm sitting here telling him it's okay, I'm telling him it's okay to be scared. Scared is the appropriate response. Yes, be scared of this. When in reality I was trying to do the opposite, because that's what you would do with like a child. Dogs don't understand it that way, because remember, dogs don't speak English. Instead, when I see him running and losing his marbles, I don't give a whole lot of acknowledgement to it. I might be like, "Oh goodness, Toby, you're ridiculous." Something that I'm not rewarding that behavior. However, if he makes a brave choice, so if he comes out from behind the toilet or comes to see me, I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, good job being brave." And this has worked for me in that if we're out on a walk or something and a firework goes off, he used to try to run from me, and now instead he comes to me. He's realized I'm his safe space. Good things happen when I come to mom when I'm scared, and that's what we're looking for. One of the other big things that, from working in animal control and working in the veterinary field, one of the simplest things that you can do is go secure your yard before the 4th of July. Make sure there's no holes, no escape routes. Make sure if your dog is a jumpy dog, make sure they're going out on a lead. Even if the fireworks aren't starting yet, take them out just in case. And then make sure that your dog their tags are up to date. When I was working animal control, the first way that I try to identify an animal was, look, does it have a name tag? Cool, a dog has a name tag, there's a phone number, I'm going to call that owner and get this dog back home. If the tag's out of date or the phone number's incorrect, it can be really, really frustrating for somebody who's just trying to get your dog home. So double check their tags. Is your information correct? Making sure that their microchip information is up to date. When your veterinarian or the shelter microchips a dog, when they scan it, all it shows is a number. That number goes into a database system. If you haven't updated that information, it just says, yep, this rescue or this vet placed this microchip, but I don't have any owner information. So it makes the microchip essentially useless. If you're not sure which company your dog is chipped with, you can go into just about anywhere that can read a microchip, and they can scan it and see which company it's chipped through, so you can get that information updated. Go and exercise your dog early. Play brain games throughout the day. This is going to help wear them out. It's really hard to be scared and anxious when you're exhausted. Make sure that you feed them early. Like I know that Toby, we usually feed around 6:30ish. Well, that's going to be about the time that people are going to be thinking about setting off fireworks, because we have neighbors who enjoy fireworks. So I will probably feed him more like 4:30, just so that he's fed, he's happy, he's comfortable, and we don't have to worry about his anxiety and not eating. And make sure that you let your dog out to potty before it gets dark. And 10 out of 10 would recommend taking them out on a lead, especially if you already know that they're scared. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some ideas on what you can do with your dog to kind of prepare for these things. You can absolutely use, if there's a thunderstorm going on now, or Juneteenth will probably have fireworks, so that's something you can kind of plan. Okay, there's probably going to be fireworks. Let's set up the environment to see how our dog reacts and see how we can implement some of these things. You know, does a nice quiet room with the TV on work, or do we need to look at getting some medication from the vet? Which direction do we need to go? I hope this helps. I hope that you guys have a fantastic June, and we will see you guys next time.